Today we have our special guest, Heather's here, Heather Hiniker from Ascent, and we're going to be talking about a topic that's super fun. It can be looked at as vanity because we're going to be talking about fat loss and muscle gains and even hair growth, and that's all on the outside. But your body doesn't care what you look like, right? So we're only going to get results on the outside if we have taken care of our insides. And we've talked about mitochondrial health. We've talked about liver health. We've talked about kidney health, and all of these things are intertwined and interconnected. And as you listen to more and more of these videos and read more and more of the blogs and the articles, you're going to see that there's a lot of crossover, because as the body heals, it will get all of these results, and it's like a domino effect. You're either going in the right direction or you're going in the wrong direction with dominoes. So today we are going to talk about how to get your goals met when you're losing fat and gaining muscle, especially. And a lot of diets, yes, you lose weight, but you're losing a lot of muscle weight with that weight. It's very difficult to do unless you do it this way. And I'm going to first talk about what key diet and supplements are important to use, and then also lifestyle issues. And Heather's going to come in and talk about the LifeWave stem cell activation patches and her devices that are extremely effective in enhancing the results, because we want to do everything we can to enhance our results so that we feel like we're succeeding, so that we don't feel like we're putting in a whole bunch of effort and getting frustrated and then give up and have cheat meals and feel horrible about ourselves and have shame and guilt. And I know everybody has experienced those feelings. And you know, I've been doing a lot of research on the dopamine and sugar pathways in the brain, which I will dive deeper into in a couple of weeks, and is super fascinating how the brain works. Let me just give you a little clue. Cocaine has one pathway to the brain. Sugar has three. So in my mind, sugar and glucose are definitely more addictive than most drugs. But let's get into what I would tell you to do to get the best effects and enhanced results from what you're doing. Number one, we've talked about mitochondria. That is the cell's brain, right? And we increase ATP production in the cells, or in the mitochondria, and that is true cellular energy. Well, we need energy in our brain and our body for to be able to work out, to be able to have the brain cells to even have the willpower to say, no, I'm not going to eat that. Yes, my goal is to lose some weight and gain some muscle. We need that energy. We need that focus. And if you're depressed, if you are suffering from anxiety or depression, you're not going to have the strength to think about making the physical goals. It's brain, it's mind, body, and spirit all together. And we've talked about what affects that energy. Emotional stress does. Emotional stress will hit the adrenals. The adrenals release cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Cortisol is called by Terry Cochran, one of Heather and my favorite people, as the dirty cupcake, because it will cause a rise in blood sugar without even eating a morsel of food. So you get no benefit of enjoying the food. It's causing the weight gain. So number one, stress management, easier said than done. A 10-minute walk with your dog, a dopamine hit from hugging your family members, just the hacks of prayer, meditation. Those are the things that we need to focus on to lower that stress. And I've gone into more detail in that in other videos. Number two, processed foods and a high carb diet. The processed foods not only obviously are lacking in nutrition and they taste great going down, but they are ripping apart your gut. leaky gut, and everybody's got leaky gut, even if they have one cheat meal. And how do we get that leaky gut back? Because the leaky gut is going to disrupt the signaling from your gut to your brain when you do have the healthy foods like the wild animal protein or the omega-3 fatty acids that trigger that CCK, that triggers the brain that says, oh, I've got plenty of nutrients in my body. I'm not hungry anymore. I'm done. Well, the carbs and the high processed foods wipe out that whole signaling system. So then you end up overeating, and it tends to be stress eating. That's going to cause bloat, dysfunction, weight gain, and it's not giving you the proper proteins to build muscle and to burn fat. So we want to kick the processed foods. I know on my website you see a lot of talk about keto. Does that mean a high fat diet? No, I would actually rather you eat a whole food diet without these processed keto foods that are low carb. There's a big difference in the nutrient density of the whole foods, and that is very important when you're talking about body composition, burning fat, liver health, thyroid health, and maintaining muscle mass. We need to have healthy thyroid. Your thyroid is the bridge between your brain and your body. If your thyroid is not functioning well, your metabolism's low, you're not going to be able to burn the fat on your body that we need to burn. And it also is going to affect your ATP production and your mitochondria as well, and slow down the metabolism, slow down your energy for workouts, all of that. So how do we fix the thyroid? I'll talk about in a second. But the other thing is heavy metal toxicity. We need to lower our toxic load. And you do that through the Iodine and the Nuke No More, the accelerated ancient salt, and the silver. And I have the radiation and detox, thyroid detox bundle that helps you do that. The toxicity from heavy metals and radiation can suppress the thyroid, the mitochondria, halt ATP production, overload the liver, which inhibits the detoxification pathway and increase inflammation throughout the body. All of these things are going to promote weight gain in the wrong way, not the muscle gain, but the fat gain. So how are we going to tackle these things? The two favorite supplements I have for what we just talked about are the accelerated keto, which, like I mentioned, does not have to necessarily be paired with a high fat keto diet. The accelerated keto kicks you into ketosis within 30 minutes. Your body's triggered to burn its own body fat stores, kicks you into that mental state where your brain's getting the nutrients and the energy to say, okay, I can do this. I can focus. Sorry about the dog in the back. She wants to get out of my office. I'm not going to get up and let her out. Anyways, the keto is flipping you in to tapping into your own fat stores, instantly giving you ketones to the brain, which is a clean burning fuel. Imagine the Tesla versus the gas guzzling exhaust of the Suburban. A lot of waste comes from when you're burning glucose for energy versus when you're burning ketones. It's very clean. There's very little oxidative stress. There's a less need for antioxidants to combat the oxidative stress in your body when you're on the accelerated keto. And then you support that with intermittent fasting and a low carb diet, high animal protein diet. And why do I say wild animal protein? That is because wild animal protein actually has the omega-3s and the amino acids that your brain gets that signaling from the gut, from the CCK signaling to the brain that says, I've got plenty of nutrients in my body. I don't need to overeat. I've got plenty of amino acids to build my muscles. As my girls are saying, and they're working out for their athletics, they're bulking, right? Have you ever heard of girls bulking? When they want to actually build muscle in the right, proper way, and that's from the animal proteins. When you look at vegan sources, they are not complete amino acid profiles. So you're not getting all of the amino acids you need. They're not triggering that signaling to the brain saying, I've got plenty of what I need. And also on a vegan diet, you're most likely eating vegetables that are full of oxalates or sulfur or lectins that could be also causing leaky gut and disrupting the absorption of the nutrients you're taking in. So when you do the accelerated keto and pair it with a high protein diet, filling in with the carbs and the fat that satisfy your hunger. I like to use the fat from the animal sources. I don't cut out the gristle, and I don't shy away from the fat in wild salmon or some of that fattier fish, but I don't necessarily put a lot of fat on my food. So with the keto, it is also has ingredients that are breaking down saturated fats into those unsaturated fats. And those are easier for the body to utilize and easier for the body to convert into ketones, so it's a second source of ketones. So you get this extra boost of energy. And it's also able to defat the liver. And you know, I love my liver. And the liver is responsible for converting stored fat into ketones. If your liver's backed up, your liver can't process the undigested fats. It can't use them for energy. It can't convert even the amino acids or any food you're bringing in and using those nutrients and breaking down the foods. So you're going to get nauseous. You're going to feel, ugh, and you can feel your liver's right under your right side, under your rib cage. If it's hard, that means your liver is backed up. And even artificial sweeteners can back up your liver. Even stevia can at a higher dose, like I've mentioned, that I have been suffering from, and cleared it out of my diet. And I've seen a huge difference in the way my liver is functioning. The liver is also where the thyroid hormone converts not the inactive T4 into the active T3. So as the liver is functioning better, your thyroid works better, increases metabolism, mitochondria, and your energy increases. So your metabolism's going up. So you actually could lose weight and lose fat with a proper diet and with an exercise program. And you have more energy to do so. So you feel better doing it. During your workout, you probably will end up doing a little extra, and it's going to be more efficient as well. And the accelerated keto also has HMB, which prevents muscle wasting. Most supplements have leucine, which converts into HMB, but only 3% of leucine converts into HMB. And people promote leucine as the muscle wasting amino acid. Well, it's actually the leucine has to convert into the HMB to prevent the muscle wasting, and the accelerated keto has that specifically in there. And then there's also the organic mucal that breaks down the fats even more, provides an additional energy spark to burn those fats as it breaks down, also helps with joint and muscle health as well. The organic tricotatu in the accelerated keto has that something that heats up the digestive fire. So you're able to absorb the ketones better and also absorb your food better when you do eat. Next is the acceleridine. The acceleridine, as we've talked about before, increases ATP by 18 times the amount, 18 times. And it does that through the Krebs cycle. So it produces 36 ATP through in each mitochondria. It also helps with the fat burning, it's the bridge between your brain and your body, helps with the thyroid hormones. The T4, T3, T2, and T1, all thyroid hormones, stand for tyrosine and 4, 3, 2, and 1 molecules of iodine. So it is essential. It also helps with IQ. It's really important for pregnant women to take, and also for babies and children. It increases their IQ and reduces the risk of mental retardation. And as I've talked about before, and now as of tomorrow, it'll be on the blog, my full article on acceleridine. It also can reverse the damage from mRNA that has been done to the DNA with everything that's been going on. So the acceleridine is the only iodine that does that. And the acceleridine is the only iodine that can actually feed the thyroid the proper molecule for the iodine absorption. Other iodine supplements have to be broken apart from the body, within the body, and sometimes the body is very inefficient and able to do that. Okay, so with that, and then also the nuke no more, because we want to reduce the toxicity and the radiation that can disrupt the DNA. Can also, that toxicity backing up the liver can inhibit the muscle retention and also the fat burning. So it really is important to reduce oxidative stress, reduce the toxicity in order to get these gains that we want. And we're going to be talking a little bit about hair and hair growth as well. And I can't tell you how many women I have listened to and heard over the last 6 months from what's been going on, whether you've had COVID or the jab, just side effects in general, women especially losing hair. And so I'm super excited about the results that I've seen personally, and Heather's going to talk about that as well. My Vital C. My Vital C helps with the reducing the inflammation, stops the cytokine storms of the viral activity in the body, but it also has been shown to extend life by 90%. We would be living 90% longer, so almost double our lifespan. And every rat in the study that did not take My Vital C, which is a carbon 60, it is not vitamin C. It is, so all the rats not taking it died with multiple tumors. Not one rat that lived twice as long that took the My Vital C died with even one tumor. So it helps with that, but it's also been shown to turn gray hair back to its original color and encourage hair growth as well. So what are my favorite supplements? The accelerated keto, the acceleridine, the My Vital C, and I would add in the Nuke No More and the accelerated detox powder for the detox effects. And then also, if you need to heal your leaky gut, which most people do, the leaky gut bundle. I'm not going to go into that right here, but that seals the gut. And Heather can even talk about her experience with that, but you just kind of feel a lot tighter in the gut and the abdominal, and the bloat goes away, but it also helps with the absorption of the nutrients we're taking in. Walk after your meals, incorporate heavy lifting. Us women need to lift heavy weights. When it's not the let's go to the gym and take the 5-pound weights and do 30 reps. We want to take the 15 or 20-pound weights and do 5 to 8 reps. That's going to stimulate the muscle growth. You will not get big. I promise you, you will not get bulky unless you're taking steroid shots or high doses of testosterone, which I don't think anyone is. Oh, one more. I did not want to miss the accelerated ancient salt. This is part of my power bundle on my website, which includes the accelerated silver, the accelerated keto, the acceleridine, and the accelerated ancient salt. Why is it so important? We are losing our minerals as we're working out. You need all of the electrolytes, and the salt can help hydrate the cells, and that's going to give you more energy at the cellular level. And you lose salt and water as you work out and during the day. So it's really important. You can also use the accelerated ancient salt to curb your cravings for that processed food and the glucose by just putting a little on your tongue or putting it in your water. So those are my favorite supplements and my dietary hacks. You want to load up on that extra protein. It's very difficult for you to eat too much protein and that protein to be converted into fat. The body does not do that. And the more muscle you have, the more storage you have for carbohydrates. So the more you can actually enjoy carbohydrates with the muscle mass that you build. So Heather, let's talk about the life wave patches that enhance the fat burning, enhance the muscle building, and even may help the hair growth, and what results you've seen.
Hi guys, thank you for having me, Sarah. So we've been playing around with the new X49 patch for probably, I don't know, 4 months now. The initial 60 days that I did it, I didn't notice much, but I realized very quickly that placement was a huge trigger in having the AHK copper peptide activated. And so the last 30 days, I've actually implemented it where I'm putting it 3 fingers below my belly button. And this, again, this is the X49. I'm still doing my X39 on my C7 on my back, but literally, and I'll go over my in-body analysis over these last 30 days here in a second, I've noticed a huge shift. I've noticed a huge shift in how much weight I'm able to lift. My personal trainer is floored. We just keep going up and up, which is so great because I'm very competitive with myself. And I've noticed a huge difference in my hair. In fact, today I washed it and I had my towel on my head. And when I took it off, I looked in the mirror and there were like literally hundreds of little hairs this size just kind of poking out. And when I originally did the X39, I noticed kind of like a double growth of hair, but come to find out the X49. So real quick, just in case people don't know the difference between X39 and X49. X39 is our stem cell patch. It's activating GHK copper peptide. And so it's basically activating dormant stem cells and making more pluripotent stem cells. So it's our patch that reverse ages on the inside. I find that the X49 is more like shown more on the outside. So it's activating AHK copper peptide instead of GHK copper peptide. AHK declines with age as well. Same thing. They both are declining with age, but it's found in more specialized tissues like skin, hair, blood vessels, and muscles. And so I think that's why we're finding such significant results. And again, we'll go over my in-body here in a second. But I'm going to read this because it's a lot of information. So the AHK is actually repairing our endothelial lining. It stimulates vascular endothelial growth factor. And then this supports the production of new blood cells as well as an uptick in nitric oxide. And why nitric oxide is so important, we have actually our red light bed. It's probably one of the most efficacious red light therapies on the market. It's classified as a class 2 medical device, and it increases a molecule called nitric oxide. Well, that's what this AHK patch is doing as well, this X49 patch. And this molecule also decreases with age. So by the time we are 50 years old, which Sarah, you and I are pretty close to that, our production of nitric oxide is 15 to 25% of what it was in our prime. And so by exposing yourself to the red light, and it's different nanometers of light, all red light is not the same. And then also this patch, you're having an uptick on that. So with what I'm seeing and where my nitric oxide levels are, you know, I have 100% full tank like I did when I was in my prime, and that doesn't fall off. Another thing that this AHK copper peptide is doing is it is basically supporting the proteins, collagen and elastin that's needed for skin. And they say there's actually been research and so studies that support that the AHK copper peptide stimulates type 1 collagen by 300%. So I am really noticing a difference like in like the plumpness of my skin, in addition to that 10 times hair growth that we were talking about. But more importantly is the muscle and what I'm noticing in that. So I'm going to get onto my next screen here, and I'm going to tell you guys the difference in 30 days of what I've seen. So as I've spoken about before, I have a device called the InBody 770. It analyzes, it's a bioimpedance analyzer. So it's analyzing different things like intracellular versus extracellular water. It gives us a measurement of our visceral fat, which is the fat that surrounds our organs. It also tells us about systemic inflammation. It gives us our phase angle number, which is the integrity of our cell walls, another indicator of health. And so since I've switched the location of my X49, which was March 2nd, 2022, And the last time I did it, so I'm doing it every Wednesday, and I'm just kind of doing comparative to see how I'm progressing. So last Wednesday, which was the 6th of April, over this 30 days, I've noticed my weight has stayed the same. So pretty much it's not changing at all. But what is changing is my lean body mass and my muscle. So within that 30 days, I have gained 4.6 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
So for someone that's 45 years old, and I'm working out with weights twice a week, 40 minutes each time. And like Sara said, like today, I had 30-pound dumbbells and I did this 6 times on each arm, 3 times. I mean, we're not talking tons and tons of weight, or we're not talking, long, strenuous 20 reps, right? And then also increased my protein. So in addition to the X49 every day, like clockwork, I have increased my protein intake, but I've changed nothing else. So the 4.6 pounds of muscle increase is pretty substantial. I've never gained muscle this fast in my entire life, at least since I've been quantifying it to see. I've lost 4.2 pounds of fat. So that is very significant because we know muscle weighs a lot more than fat. And so this much fat and this much muscle, right? So 4.2 pounds of fat, decreased my percentage of body fat in this 30 days by 3%. My phase angle, which is my favorite little number to look at. So that's the measurement of the integrity of my cell walls. It is higher than it's ever been. So the highest I've ever seen it was right when I got off Sara's Ascent Cleanse, okay? And it was through the roof high. Like I had never seen it that high before. Some of that had to do a little bit with dehydration on my part. I didn't hydrate towards the end, and that will affect your phase angle. I am pretty much perfectly hydrated at this point, and it's as high as it's been. So I have to attribute it to the patches, and gaining the muscle. And then my visceral fat, which is the fat around my organs, just in 30 days, I lost 5.5 centimeters squared. So that's pretty significant if you think about how much around your muscle or around your organs of fat, 5.5 centimeters squared in 30 days. And then my inflammation levels are lower than they've ever been. So this device will look at your extracellular water, compare it to your total body water, and it gives you a measurement. And my inflammation levels are probably like where a 16-year-olds are at this point. So I mean, this is not, this is a lifestyle. I mean, Sara and I always talk about it. We walk the walk, we do these things every single day, but the consistency of doing it is really paying off from what I'm seeing. And then, just being able to say we are truly reverse aging is so exciting to see.
2 things I want to point out is Heather's located in Newport Beach. And if anyone's local and wants to do a body scan before and after incorporating any of these protocols, whether it's the Ascent Diet Cleanse, whether it's just the accelerated keto, whether it's just the X49, I recommend you do it, because you will see not just a change in your muscle and your fat, but your visceral fat, which is a really important number. That's the dangerous type of fat around your abdominal, but also just the phase angle and your risk of disease and overall health and hydration. It's an amazing machine. It also shows you how a stupid little scale means nothing, because Heather would probably step on the scale and go, well, this patch is doing nothing for me. But look at all of the changes that she's experienced within there. And then Heather, where it's called what is the machine called again, if someone is not local and they would like to search to get scanned?
What they should do is just Google bioimpedance analyzer, because there's lots of different brands, and that's going to, we have the InBody 770. You want to make sure though, if it's an InBody analyzer, it is the 770, because there's a 270 and a 570 that lots of gyms have, and they don't give these reads. So just make sure that it's a bioimpedance analyzer that measures visceral fat and phase angle, and you should be safe.
Awesome. And do you want to touch on the few machines at your facility that also help with this process?
Yeah, I would love to. So the first, which is near and dear to my heart, and there's only 60 in the world, we're very lucky to have 2, are the CVAC pods. CVAC stands for cyclic variations and adaptive conditioning. And basically you're sitting inside of a pod and you're feeling different changes of temperature, air pressures, and density of air pretty much. So the easiest way to explain it is when you go in there and if you have a water bottle with the lid, the whole time that water bottle is expanding and contracting. Well, that's happening to every cell in your body. So as far as toxins, inflammation, waste, it's going to flush that out. It also helps, it's bringing the body to homeostasis. So it helps balance things like hormones. It's helping to speed up metabolism, which is huge. And then just like when you are working out and you do have some of that fatigue associated with that, it's helping flush out that lactic acid. So your recovery times are much lower. It's inducing endogenous stem cell production, which is a great complement to the patches because it's a different type of way to make stem cells. It's also increasing your mitochondria. So another thing that declines with age is the batteries to our cells that produce our energy, our mitochondria. So it's inducing mitochondrial biogenesis, which there's not many things on this planet that will do that. And that's how we're producing our ATP. So that's first and foremost. I mean, you know, we have the professional athletes love it because it's increasing VO2 max and making their workouts better and faster. And, you know, they're hitting personal bests, but I found it because it helped put my rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis in remission. It was the first technology that I used and it opened my eyes up to all of this. And it's very profound in what it does just for human optimization. And then as we touched on red light, our specific bed is incorporating 4 wavelengths of light. 2 are for the outside, which is a nice little bonus, but, you know, increasing collagen, elastin, evening skin tone. But the reason I got this particular bed, it's a class 2 medical device, and it is inducing that nitric oxide production and working with the cell's mitochondria so that you're producing more energy and kind of reversing the clock back to the levels that you were producing when you were in your prime. And then, you know, a couple other ones that are so important for adding muscle and your ATP production and just, you know, optimization is one is kind of out of the box. They're all out of the box if I'm, let's be serious, but the Nano V ordered water vapor is actually working with your proteins. And so we were talking about the proteins like collagen and elastin. Proteins are responsible for like every process our body is going through, along with needing ATP. And so as we age, our proteins start to become lazy and they flatten out. If they're performing at their optimal levels, they're crinkled up and they're mitigating things like oxidative stress and free radical damage. So by inhaling this ordered water vapor when you're, you know, on the red bed or you're in the Balancer Pro full body compression, you're actually helping that mechanism as well. And there's not another technology that does that. So that's a great, you know, add, and it's things that you can stack and layer with some of our other modalities. And then just increasing blood flow and oxygenation. We have things that do that as well. I think that's a really important part of, you know, like you think about your red blood cells are taking the oxygen and, you know, nourishing all of the muscles and tissues. So if you're optimizing that, you know, that's important too. So we have a good grasp on the technology, and then working with Sara, the guru, when it comes to supplementation and nutrition, you know, that's and able to quantify it with the in-body. It's pretty eye-opening, and we'd love to have anyone in that wants to take things to the next level. One thing I do want to say, like after Sara's cleanse, because we've had a lot of people in 30 days and in 60 days, I've noticed people's visceral fat drop 30 centimeters squared. So you have to think, for me, mine is already below average as it is because of my lifestyle and everything I do. So in 30 days to drop 5.5 centimeters squared is huge. But when we're dealing with people that, you know, have been chronically sick for a long time, or just have had unhealthy lifestyles, and they want to really kick things off by doing the Ascent cleanse, within 30, 60 days, they're dropping 30 centimeters squared. That's like unheard of. There's nothing that I've seen that affects that fast. And again, it's a way to quantify it. Like, you know, people's muscle is increasing or at least maintaining on a cleanse. They're losing fat. And a lot of times, if you're just on a normal scale, you don't necessarily see all that. So it is important to look at all of the measurements that are making your body.
And to emphasize all of this, all of these protocols together, when you incorporate the diet, the supplements, the lifestyle, lifting weights, and what Heather has at her place, the the results are infinite. I mean, you can't even quantify because you're sending like so many darts to the dartboard. You're going to feel better, and it makes you feel like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. And it also allows you to fall off the wagon a little bit and get back on, and be motivated to get back on. So thank you, Heather. We are out of time, so I'm so glad we fit it all in. It was a lot of information, and a lot of this information we go in deeper in some of the other calls and articles. If you have any questions, put them in the group chat. And like always, I will have this uploaded hopefully by tonight for you to review, and also to share with friends and family. Invite your friends and family to the group chats. It's all free. It's education based. If people are not ready to jump right in with the supplements or the patches or these protocols, they can learn first. And I always tell my kids the why. I'm telling them to do the do, but the why is the reason, because otherwise it's not going to stick. And so you teach, and then people can take care of themselves. But invite them to the group chats on Telegram, invite them to these Zooms, and pass these Zooms along once they are uploaded. And I really appreciate it because you're helping me help everybody else around the world. All righty, guys, have a great afternoon.
Bye. Thanks, Sarah.
Heather.